biggest surprise! We're back. And we're ready to deliberate for what is the biggest surprise of 2022. That's right. It's Shacknews Game of the Year 2022 deliberations, and it's time for some shocking reveals, twists, turns. Things are about to get so M. Night Shyamalan here. You're going to be shocked, and I'm sure you'll be in suspense until you hear our nominations. So let's get going. What do you say? Who would like to start off with their nomination? Oh, okay. All right.
I'll start. Marvel Snap was a present surprise this year. Like, I don't play mobile games like at all, like barely any, especially card games. Like, I've played them all, and I fall off of them super quickly. But that's one that I keep coming back to. It's just a good game. Like, that's the argument. It's a well designed game. It's fun. That's the. That doesn't mean I can't get frustrated with it sometimes, David, but it's still fun.
It's fun.
Yeah, I mean, it came out. It just kind of crept up on this. I mean,
Yeah,
I feel like
it did.
Ozzy's been singing its praises for a long time. Ozzy's been talking about this game since he did a preview of it.
When did I do a Well, I previewed it back in September, but I knew it was coming.
Yeah, it was.
And I had faith. I had faith in Second Dinner in the old Hearthstone devs. So.
It was just like in development for so long with nothing. Because I remember Ben left and you heard nothing like for like years, and then all of a sudden it was like, here it is, and you're like, wait, what? Like there was no 2-year lead in or whatever. Like it was just dead silence, and then they're just like, it's out in beta now and it's out this year.
I also think that you can have faith in a design team, but license restrictions can be a hell of a thing. And Marvel games are not always hits, right? So this was a big surprise for me that it was so darn good. I love it. It went from what the fuck is this latest Marvel thing to, all right, we have a real front runner for my game of the year here. So yeah, it's definitely my biggest surprise.
Oh my god, it's fun.
Yeah.
That's what I
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm playing
super fun and well designed. Yeah.
I'm playing a card game. I don't do that. I don't play digital card games, and here I am, like, legs falling asleep on the toilet, just addicted to Marvel Snap. That is a shock. Yeah, it's a good nomination, very solid nomination. But we have a few to get through. So if anyone wants to talk about Marvel Snap, let's hear them out or forever hold your peace here. Does anyone else want to sing it? So we've sung its praises quite a lot throughout deliberations.
I was going to say there are a lot of other categories where you can get like our in-depth thoughts on it, but just again, I think we've hit on the most salient point here, which for a lot of us it just kind of came out of nowhere and was a very pleasant surprise.
Absolutely. All right. Well, let's keep going now. TJ.
So, you want to talk about something that I would have never expected to happen, because, I don't feel like it's one of the most popular things. I don't feel like it's a thing, something. It didn't even get American releases for some of the games, and it kind of just got brushed under the rug and forgotten about for a long time. I never expected to see Front Mission remakes in this 2022, the year of our Lord. I love Front Mission. It checks so many boxes for me as far as a game franchise goes. It's Armored Core meets Final Fantasy Tactics in the best of ways. Like giant robots, customize them how you will, put the armaments that you want on them, and go out into the battlefield with your robots and strategize around your enemy robots. I love that series, and to see that not only were the first two games being made, but the third one, which I think I mentioned in another one, is one of my favorite RPGs of all time. Good Lord. What a delight. I am so happy to see that Front Mission is alive.
Yeah, I don't like that sort of grid-based tactical combat, but I remember loving the crap out of Front Mission on the Super Nintendo. Mostly because if you got a giant robot in your game or giant robots, I'm bound to at least try it. It's just all there is to it.
Just wasn't all that popular. I never would have expected that. That's one of the things that Square Enix would pull out of the toy box and dust off. So to see that among all the other gems that they could have gone back to, yeah, wow. I was super surprised to see that happen.
Coolness. Yeah, interesting nomination, and I get where you're coming from, TJ. I definitely get where you're coming from. All right. Well, I'm going to keep things moving along here. Who else would like to throw out a nomination?
So just to paint a little backstory, the January 14th Shack Chat was, what is your boldest 2022 gaming prediction? And we had some ideas. I said that Xbox was going to explore VR. Donovan was saying we're going to get Xbox is going to get an exclusive superhero game. Blake, you said that Taco Bell was going to form a studio to make NFT games. So we did this on January 14th. We came back to work that Monday, and Microsoft said, y'all are all wrong because we are buying Activision Blizzard.
Yeah. Asif got pretty close, if I recall. He said that they would buy Capcom, right? Or that Capcom would be bought.
He said Sony will acquire Capcom. He wasn't. He was in the right ballpark because I think 2 weeks after this, Sony got Bungie. So
yeah,
it's close, but not quite there. But still, Asif was in the right neighborhood. None of us could have ever imagined that like Microsoft would be like, yeah, we're gonna take like one of the biggest publishers in the world, an embattled publisher no less, because last year, because 2021 was a very bad, no good year for Activision Blizzard. Times for them still aren't great.
No, like let's just be real. Like, like Bobby Kotick and a lot of the higher ups at that company have been horrendous to the staff. And it's a big controversy, and they're being sued by the state of California. They're under all sorts of investigations. And yeah, it's a very volatile, toxic company. So for Microsoft to come in and be like, we'll kind of be a bulletproof vest for you here by sort of making it look like we're taking it over and making it better is definitely an interesting move, because I personally wouldn't want to be associated with Activision Blizzard in any way. But I think Microsoft's almost maybe it's a too big to fail sort of deal. No one's going to judge Microsoft the way that they're judging Activision Blizzard.
To play devil's advocate just a little bit too, is that I feel like a lot of big companies are like that, Blake, but Blizzard's the one that got caught. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that happens across the board for huge corporations that treat their employees like garbage and have sexual allegations against them. But like, it's unfortunate that they don't get caught. But Activision's the one that got caught.
Yeah, but I mean, considering all of this is out in the open, I think it does make it a big freaking surprise. Definitely.
So it's actually, as someone who's literally written the book on Blizzard more than one, I can tell you this actually was not a surprise. Blizzard was formed in 1991 and has not been independent since 1994. They've continually been bought out while mired in some controversies. Davidson and Associates acquired them in 1994. Sendon Corporation, or rather CUC, in 1996. Sendit in 1997. A French water company, so then Vivendi Games, and then a French water company, Havas, and then Activision Blizzard. This is kind of really par for the course. Someone was always going to buy them. They're never going to be independent again. Even despite the controversy, that actually made them a better value because their stock plummeted. So this was going to happen eventually, and it just happened maybe sooner rather than later. So yeah, Blizzard's been passed around.
I still remember
a very long time.
I was on the QA team at Activision when they bought Blizzard, and that was a shock to us at the time. And
yeah,
I still remember my car breaking down the day we were supposed to be at the all hands for it, and everyone got handed a free copy of Wrath of the Lich King or whatever that expansion was at the time, and I didn't get mine. So sucks to be me.
Man. Well, that's the thing. When Activision acquired them, they were considered too big to fail, but they've been kind of on downward trends ever since. So this is really just history.
Well,
repeating itself.
Really slapping the ball out of Ozzy's hand here. Wow.
Sorry about that.
Jeez Louise. All right, let's keep going down the line. Who else has a nomination here? Nobody?
I'm fascinated by Morgan's nomination because I remember going to try out Sonic Frontiers at Summer Game Fest, and my impression, and Greg will remember this, my impression of it was, I'm like, like it's So it
Shrug.
it doesn't feel like Sonic, dude. Like something's off about this. And then we got the final product, and it's like, holy crap, this is actually good.
Yeah.
Why did they show me this game?
Yeah,
Mm.
I don't think they did a really good job at promoting it ahead of time because yeah, my first reaction when I got the code was like I don't know if I'm gonna like this. I did not expect to like it as much as I did. I was very surprised that, it's not only just a good game that's fun, it's a good 3D Sonic game, which I think for the franchise is kind of a surprise itself, um, given the past history of the 3D games. But yeah, I was very surprised by Sonic Frontiers. I was surprised that, for the most part, I think it had a decent reception. I think there were some reviews that kind of knocked it down a little too unfairly, in my opinion. But uh, I'm not biased. Like the score I gave it, like, was very genuine. Like I did not expect to like it. It's still one of my top games of this year. I'm still playing it. I'm still enjoying it, and yeah, just a very surprising turn of events for that game. I think that it turned out as well as it did.
And that's the and if I'm using this word right, the stigma of 3D Sonic games is that they're bad. Like they're not that they're bad, but they're just like there's more bad elements than good elements to them. They have some good ideas, and people were expecting Frontiers to be bad, have bad elements, and it didn't, and it actually flowed very well.
Yeah.
Like we can count so many bad 3D Sonic games, like Sonic Boom and Sonic Forces, and that's not even getting into like the Xbox 360 one generation.
Sonic Unleashed, baby. Where's
say Sonic,
Sonic's?
don't say Sonic Forces is bad or in
Yeah,
front of other
Donovan
Sonic
said Sonic
fans, 'cause
06
they
is
will
bad.
come for you.
Still getting death
We
threats.
got the news last year that they were remastering Sonic Colors, and it's like, well, I mean, it's the best
Okay.
one by default.
Sonic Colors
Default.
isn't that bad.
Sonic
But-
Generations and Sonic Colors are great, in my
Sonic
opinion.
Generations was good.
I grew up a Sega kid. I was on the Genesis when I was little, and I've dealt with my share of bad Sonic games. And I gotta say, when Morgan's review convinced me to sit down with it, and after playing like the first 3 hours, or even just like in the first few minutes, something about it just electrified the Sega Genesis cells inside my body, and I felt like a kid again playing this game. It was so fun, and like the music is so good in it. I love it. I love that game.
I love
That's
the robot designs. I like the soundtrack, the environments. It really does have a lot of okay. Fishing with Big the Cat, so mindless and
Yes.
fun, and I love it. And it's like you're always a winner. It's like it's a mini game you can't lose, and it's super chill and fantastic. And I seriously like sat there for 10 minutes and just like fished.
Somebody saw Kirby fishing in Kirby in the Forgotten Land. It's like, who's gonna take on Kirby fishing? Big the Cat's like, I'll do it.
Big the
just-
Cat.
I was just sitting there playing the game and like enamored and smiling the whole time, and I'm pretty sure a single tear rolled down my eye, and I whispered, "They did it."
Yeah, because 3D Sonic games are such a unicorn.
They
They
are.
are.
They really are, and yeah, good on Sega for nailing it with Sonic Frontiers for sure. I am very amused by Asif's nomination for biggest surprise, and it's kind of like surprises are sometimes good, sometimes bad, sometimes it really depends on your perspective. Chris Pratt as Mario is, I don't think, something anybody saw coming or really necessarily wanted, but man, is that out of left field. Chris Pratt as Mario in the Mario movie that's coming out, I should say, not as Mario in the games. That'll hopefully always be Charles Martinet. Yeah, I don't know. When we heard about this film, didn't really think that you'd have somebody like Chris Pratt. Mario's voice, I think we're all used to it being that woohoo, oh boy, let's go, sort of fun and high energy, but this is like a big blockbuster film, right? So of course they're going to put some big names behind it.
I'd like to counter Os's surprise at Chris Pratt as Mario with my surprise as Jack Black as Bowser actually being really good. Like I was surprised at what Jack Black is bringing to this role. I'm very excited now.
Good.
I'm not shocked at all of Jack Black being good about like that's
Yeah.
to me. As soon as I was
He's a
like,
talented dude.
Jack Black as Bowser, I was like, well, that makes sense. Like that
Yeah,
was
but, like,
immediate. So
you don't see him cast in too many movies nowadays. He's usually doing his own personal projects,
Yeah,
for
'cause he-
what I know.
He doesn't need
I
to.
mean, he's been in a
He just
bunch
does
of
what he wants.
Jumanji movies recently,
Oh, that's
hasn't he?
right. I completely
Kung
forgot
Fu
about
Panda.
Jumanji.
Didn't they just make a new Kung
He
Fu
was a good.
Panda?
I love him in Kung Fu Panda.
That's right.
Yeah.
I
I don't know.
received a statement.
Jack Black has the dramatic flair and the guttural role that you really need
He's
to
just
play.
really
Like,
good at voice acting as a musician.
yeah, he's expressive. He's a very like just as an actor too. Like he's very. I guess over the top, but like you kind of have to reach that extra reaction when you do the kind of stuff that Jack Black does. You have to
He's so
really
cool.
be, yeah, great talent. And I think Seth Rogen is a good choice for Donkey Kong, honestly.
Mhm.
But I think Funky Kong would have made more sense because I feel like Funky Kong and Seth Rogen might have the same extracurricular activities.
Rogen isn't cool enough to be Funky Kong.
Wow, that's wow. Shots
Like
fired.
in his defense, few people are. He's freaking Funky
Oh,
Kong.
dude, Bootsy Collins.
I
Perfect.
would accept. I
What
would
do you-
accept.
what
No
do you
one's more
think
funky
of-
than Bootsy.
What do you think of? We haven't heard much, but what do you think of Charlie Day as Luigi so far?
I love it because
Yeah.
Luigi's got that like scared person, that like very frantic
Kind of
aspect to his character. To him, I mean, like you're just so used to seeing Charlie in a panic state on It's Always Sunny.
Yeah.
You
That
know,
was my impression, though, is that I can only hear Charlie Day when I hear that.
yeah. I mean, all I picture is the Pepe Sylvia scene, but with like Luigi instead of Charlie in it. Like that's like what I keep going back.
I've been dying to talk to you about the Mushroom Kingdom.
Man,
I mean,
Yeah.
there
I just
is
feel like-
there is no Princess Toadstool. She never existed.
I would. I can just
I don't
come
know,
from the
I-
other side of it with voice actors in animated films. Like they did all the celebrity stuff, and the shock with Chris Pratt is initial shock surprise, but then like immediately after you're like, oh right, headliner money. That's
Yeah,
why they
yeah,
did it.
you get the stunt casting behind it,
Yeah.
but like you really just don't see it coming, especially when you're so used to and familiar. I mean, they did the same thing with Sonic. Like Ben Schwartz did a fine job. I like Ben Schwartz. I honestly thought he was a decent pick because he has a similar. I feel like he has a similar nasal tone that Jaleel White had. And I was honestly, I grew up with those Sonic cartoons, and that was kind of the voice of Sonic in my head growing up. It's not the voice I remember from the video games necessarily per se, but it's the one that stuck with me because of the animated series. So I feel like he has a similar sort of range and tone to his dialogue. But Chris Pratt's just like Chris Pratt now.
Yeah.
Like a charming, kind of buffoonish dude.
But that's the everyman. That's the
yeah.
role that they're building.
Yeah.
So
Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, when you think about it, it makes sense, but you still don't see it coming. And I think it's a really good.
I mean, he's got the background with the Lego Movie as the protagonist there, which was sort of
Yeah.
fun and
That
cheerful.
was going to be my point, Sam, was that like they were never going to cast Charles Martinet to play Mario in a blockbuster Mario film, and there's already precedent with Chris Pratt. The Lego Movie made
Yeah.
hundreds of millions of dollars, and obviously they were going to want a proven star, and he's
Yeah.
been in a
It's
crap
just
ton of
sad.
box office hits.
And like
over
Bob
the last several
Hoskins,
years.
and Captain Lou Albano both aren't available anymore, unfortunately. So, what are you gonna do? I guess you're gonna go with Chris Pratt. All right, and with that,
I think Bob Hoskins would have done a great job voicing Mario. Honestly,
Likewise, yeah.
That
I
would
think
be
if
great.
you asked Bob Hoskins to take that role, he would probably swing on you.
He'd just start drinking again, and it'd be fun. Yeah.
man, I don't know. There's a lot of people.
When we had our Shack chat for who would you cast as Mario, like I picked John Leguizamo. I think he would have been happy to do it because I think he came to realize later on like what a following that first Mario movie has. But like I don't want to get too far down that rabbit hole.
Man, dude, honestly, who I would have liked to hear, Jason Alexander, I think would have made a great Mario. Danny DeVito,
Yeah.
yeah, like, oh my God,
Jason Alexander.
could you imagine Danny DeVito as
Well-
Mario and Charlie Day as Luigi?
That would be great. I was more expressing at your choice of Jason Alexander like that.
Oh yeah,
It's like the same out of left field casting choice, but he would have been great.
yeah. They're not going
I
to cast
would-
Jason Alexander, but yeah, I think both of this would work. At any rate, we could go on, and I think that's one of the reasons it's a trendsetters because everybody's going to have their opinion on who should have been instead of Chris Pratt. And that definitely got a big conversation going, got a big reaction out of the internet, for sure. So there you go. Those are your nominations for biggest surprise this year. I'll start it off here. I'm gonna vote for Marvel Snap. I just didn't see it coming. The fact that I'm playing a card game on a mobile device is nothing short of a miracle. David L. Craddock.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Marvel Snap. Same thing. Didn't see it coming, and I also think, like, to Ozzy's point, like, sometimes you have great talent behind a license, but it doesn't always result in a great start. I mean, David Brevik, co-creator of Diablo, did. I worked on this game, Marvel Heroes Online. Didn't really hit the ground running.
I love Marvel Heroes Online. I missed that game.
But at launch, they had to do a lot of, like, No Man's Sky level course correcting, and David Brevik helmed that. But that just goes to show you that you can have a great talent behind a team, but they might not always get it right out of the gate. So
fair enough. Denny.
Yeah, I think after hearing David's conversation about Fortune and Act of Bliss, kind of softened me on a bit. So I'm gonna go with the Marvel Snap too, because I had no expectation for that game, and now playing it pretty regularly.
All right, Donovan.
Yeah, same Marvel Snap.
Greg Verkelton Burke.
You know, like Morgan made a lot of good points. I'm gonna change my vote to Sonic.
Look at that.
And,
TJ.
that game, I was going in there expecting nothing, and based on the marketing, they did a bad job with the marketing. I agree.
Oh my.
And what a fun game.
All right, Ozzy.
Yeah, I expected trash out of Sonic, and I was so happy with it. So Sonic.
Morgan, sticking with Sonic.
I am sticking with Sonic. Yes.
Bill Lavoy.
Marvel Snap because I'm playing it.
Marvel Snap because I'm playing it. There's
Not shocked it came out. Shocked that it came out and that I like it and I'm playing it, and it's still the biggest surprise for me, Marvel Snap, for sure.
All right, Samuel L. Chandler. I don't know if L is your middle initial.
It's not. As surprising as it was to hear Microsoft spending $70 billion to acquire Activision, Blizzard, and King, the fact that I am into a Marvel IP and playing a card game on my mobile phone popped me down for Snap.
All right. Well, we have Asif is voting for Chris Pratt as Mario, as we know, and I think that just leaves Steve's absentee ballot. So let me get that for everybody. Steve voted for Microsoft buying Activision. So there you go. That means Marvel Snap, wow, just taking home the gold this year with another win for biggest surprise of 2022. The gavel is spoken.
Avengers! Wakanda forever!
Next time, I'll try to break a sweat.
Oh, snap.